The ocean has always been Earth's silent guardian. Covering over 70% of the planet's surface, it regulates temperature, fuels weather systems, and stores over 90% of the excess heat trapped by greenhouse gases. But what happens when that silent guardian starts to scream? July 24, 2023. Off the coast of Manatee Bay, Florida, a NOAA buoy records a shocking reading, 101.1 degrees Fahrenheit, hotter than a jacuzzi. At first, scientists think it's a malfunction, but it's not. That part of the ocean was in fact boiling. Coral reefs bleached within days. This is about the collapse of ecosystems, the destabilization of weather systems, the beginning of something scientists have long feared: irreversible marine transformation. This is the boiling ocean, our planet's most dangerous and least understood disaster. Fish vanished. Marine life normally thriving in those waters either fled or died. Wind patterns, ocean currents, and natural climate events like El Niño all influence how heat is distributed. When these systems get disrupted, the ocean can start storing that heat like a sponge, and that's when marine heat waves occur. That energy has to go somewhere, and the ocean takes most of it. When that energy gets trapped at the surface by a heat dome or a lack of wind-driven mixing, the top layer of the ocean becomes a pressure cooker. That moment marked the beginning of a terrifying trend. Oceans aren't just big pools of water. They're dynamic heat regulators. Every day they absorb heat from the sun. But while a land heat wave might last a few days or weeks, a marine heat wave can last months or even years. In 2023 and 2024 alone, there were more Category 5 marine heat waves than in the entire decade before. In fact, oceans have absorbed about 90% of the heat trapped by greenhouse gases over the past 50 years. Without them, the Earth would already be uninhabitable. By mid-2025, the Mediterranean Sea is experiencing the highest ocean temperatures in recorded history, more than 3 degrees Celsius above its average. And it's not alone. The North Atlantic is scorching. The Caribbean is warming faster than ever. The Pacific is in crisis. This isn't just about a few hot days at the beach. So let's dive deep into what's really happening beneath the surface. To understand why this is happening, we first need to understand how oceans work. But oceans don't heat up evenly. A marine heat wave is exactly what it sounds like: an extended period of unusually warm sea surface temperatures. This isn't a coincidence, it's a consequence. As global temperatures rise due to human activity, primarily the burning of fossil fuels, greenhouse gases trap more solar energy. We saw this in 2024 in the North Atlantic. Temperatures in some areas soared more than 4 degrees Celsius above normal. That might not sound like much, but in the ocean, even a 1 degree rise can cause massive coral bleaching, a 3 or 4 degree spike that's lethal. Across the globe, these marine heat waves are leaving destruction in their wake. The Great Barrier Reef, once vibrant and colorful, now looks pale and lifeless. In the Florida Keys, scientists reported near total mortality in certain reef sections. Entire underwater cities are turning into marine graveyards. In the Caribbean, coral reefs are dying en masse. In the Mediterranean, once thriving fish species are disappearing. Off the coast of Ireland, warming waters have driven fish stocks northward, leaving traditional fishing communities with empty nets. Generations of fishers are watching their way of life disappear, not because they overfished, but because the ocean moved on. They occupy less than 1% of the ocean floor, but support 25% of all marine life. They protect coastlines from storms, sustain fisheries, and attract tourism. In 2024, the Philippines experienced one of the most intense typhoon seasons in recent memory. With back-to-back Category 5 storms slamming into coastal regions, scientists warned that marine heat waves had supercharged those storms. But they are incredibly sensitive. Just a slight increase in temperature stresses corals, causing them to expel the symbiotic algae they rely on for food and color, a process known as bleaching. If the water doesn't cool down soon, they die. Warmer waters also increase the risk of diseases and harmful algae blooms, which can poison shellfish and devastate local economies. As fish migrate to cooler waters, traditional fishing grounds become barren. In the Mediterranean, octopus populations are crashing. In the Atlantic, cod and haddock are moving north. Coastal towns in Louisiana and the Carolinas are losing land to rising tides. Insurance companies are pulling out of flood-prone areas. Real estate values are plummeting. What was once beachfront paradise is now an economic liability. Fisheries are being forced to adapt, often at great financial cost. In Fiji, entire communities have relocated due to rising tides and storm surges. In Kiribati, elders say the fish no longer come to the shore like they used to. In the Marshall Islands, salt water has invaded freshwater wells. These are not isolated stories. They are the beginning of a global migration driven by climate disruption. As water heats, it expands a process called thermal expansion. Combined with melting ice caps, this has led to faster than expected sea level rise. Coastal cities like Miami, Jakarta, and Venice are already dealing with sunny day flooding where high tides flood streets, even without rain. Let's talk about coral reefs for a moment. Coral reefs are the rainforests of the sea. In 2023 and 2024, we witnessed the most widespread coral bleaching events in history in Australia, California, and Chile. Vast kelp forests have collapsed due to a combination of warming waters and hungry sea urchins, whose predators have also died off. Their local divers have documented the death of entire kelp forests that once covered thousands of square kilometers. It's like walking through a city that's been bombed, one marine biologist said. There's nothing left but rubble and shadows. These forests once supported diverse ecosystems and absorbed massive amounts of carbon. Without them, ocean biodiversity shrinks, and carbon absorption weakens. And it's not just coral. Kelp forests, those long, flowing seaweeds that sway beneath the waves, are disappearing. Let's zoom in on a real story off the coast of Tasmania. Meanwhile, in northern Norway, cod fisheries are reporting major drops in catch as warm waters push fish away from traditional grounds. And the human cost doesn't end there. Warming oceans mean more powerful storms. Hurricanes draw their energy from warm sea surface temperatures. The hotter the water, the stronger the storm. We're now entering an era where Category 5 may not be strong enough to describe the storms of the future. Some researchers are already proposing a Category 6. Beyond storms, there's the issue of sea level rise. Then there's food security. Billions of people rely on the ocean for protein, particularly in Southeast Asia, Africa, and the Pacific Islands. Aquaculture farmed fish is also suffering. In Norway, salmon farms lost tens of millions of dollars in 2024 after a marine heatwave caused mass die-offs. Let's not forget the cultural impact. For many island nations, the ocean is more than a food source. It's a way of life. Even in developed nations, these changes are being felt. So what does the future hold? According to the IPCC, if emissions continue at current levels, ocean temperatures could rise another 1.5 degrees Celsius by the end of the century. But recent data suggests we could hit that mark much sooner, perhaps by 2050 or even 2035. This current regulates weather patterns across the Atlantic, keeping Europe mild and wet and helping balance temperatures across the globe. Some models predict a possible tipping point in as little as 20 to 30 years. If it weakens or shuts down due to melting ice and warming waters, the consequences could be catastrophic. Europe could plunge into colder winters, monsoons could fail. In Asia, and sea levels could rise significantly along the US East Coast. That would mean annual coral die-offs, supercharged storms, and massive changes in global ocean circulation. One of the greatest fears is the potential collapse of the Atlantic Meridional, overturning circulation or AMOCA system of ocean currents that includes the Gulf Stream. And we can stay informed because awareness is the first step toward action. Already, there are signs of stress. Scientists have detected slowing currents and strange salinity patterns in key monitoring areas. And hit the bell icon so you never miss a deep dive into the world's hidden disasters. And the question now is simple. How much hotter are we willing to let it get? Because the more we understand the ocean's pain, the better chance we have to save it and ourselves. In some parts of Australia, underwater fans are being used to cool reefs during extreme heat. In Costa Rica, protected marine zones have rebounded with surprising speed, showing that if given the chance, the ocean can heal. All data is sourced from NOAA, NASA, WMO, and peer-reviewed scientific literature. As of June 2025, some scenes are dramatized for educational purposes. In the Philippines, mangrove restoration is helping protect coastlines from rising seas. In the Seychelles, Marine reserves are showing signs of recovery, with fish stocks returning and corals slowly bouncing back. But it's not too late to act. We can reduce emissions. We can restore ecosystems. We can invest in adaptation. Solutions exist, and they're already being tested. In British Columbia, indigenous communities are leading efforts to map and protect eelgrass beds' vital habitats that help stabilize coastlines and support marine life. We need more of these efforts. We need to protect marine life, reduce pollution, and support communities on the front lines of climate change. Individually, we can support sustainable seafood choices. We can reduce our carbon footprints. We can vote for leaders who prioritize climate action. The oceans have always been our planet's buffer, absorbing the heat, the storms, the chaos. They can only take so much. The boiling has begun. If this story opened your eyes, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. Share this video with someone who needs to know what's really happening beneath the surface. Disclaimer: this video uses AI-generated still images for visual storytelling.